Growth hack your brand and then destroy anything that moves.
You need to grind hustle your platform manifest.
It's all about entropy, elegance, and finance. Blockchain.
Invest in real estate every day.
Invest in meal estate every morning.
You need to mind hack the mind shackles that are grabbing your mind. Entrepreneurs.
Entrepreneur. Teach a man to fish and he'll eat for a day. Eat the man who just fished and you'll eat for a lifetime.
Spartans!
Business
Money Hacks.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Business Money Hacks. My name is Dustin Taylor Hahn.
And I'm Bridge Stewart. And today we have very important topics to be discussing. A lot has happened. A lot has happened in the world since we've last spoken.
The world is changing at a rapid pace. I mean, we talk about exponential growth, the singularity and all that, technology improving, but it's hard to control. You can't really control this stuff. Sometimes you just got to let loose and just let something's going to blow up. You just let it blow up.
Take your hands off the wheel is what I always say. Is what I always say when someone is driving. Take those hands off the wheel and just let it do its thing.
That's
today,
how you lost your first wife, I believe.
It is. I said, she's like, but I'm driving. I said, take your hands off the wheel. And she did. She did.
Oh, you were on a boat, though. Your boat crashed into another boat? Is that what happened? Or
it crashed into like 5 boats. It was sort of like a boat parade that was going on, and we were going fast. That's the thing with boats. If you're not going fast, I mean, it's really boring because you're just like on water. So you got to go fast in order for it to be interesting. But
it was your boat, but you weren't piloting the boat. Your wife was. That's correct.
Yeah, it was definitely her, not me. I would never do that. Even though I'm a bit of when I'm on the boat, like...
No one can touch the wheel.
No one touches the wheel. That's the rule number 1 on the boat. In fact, my boat is called Don't Touch the Wheel, It's Mine. But, that day I was just like, hey...
That particular day, yeah.
I'd been drinking. I was on one. So
a lot of spritzes. A lot of spritzes.
I'm a spritz guy. I went to town that day. And so I, of course... just let my wife take the wheel and let go of the wheel during a boat parade, and that to disastrous results.
Sometimes you can't control things, and one thing you can't control is inflation. There's no way of controlling it. It's a monster. It's a worm that's just going to go in whatever direction it's going to go. Let's just define inflation. A lot of the audience may not know exactly what inflation is. So inflation is when the
It's
prices, Bridge,
It's when the money it's like the money gets bigger. So it's like when all
the
of
money
that
gets bigger,
the money gets bigger, and you're like, oh my god, this is the inflation's blowing up, and that's what I hear people say, and it gets bigger. So I mean, things become more expensive. You got to pay for stuff. Things become more expensive. Inflation is blowing up.
There's been just a ton of articles about inflation. I've been scrolling through, and it's saying inflation is up. Inflation is up, so that means it's exploding on the marketplace.
It's exploding in people's faces, and they're shocked when they see it. They're like, "What? But I thought $1 was worth this much." And the cashier looks at them with those cold, dead eyes.
At the Dollar Tree.
At the Dollar Tree, and says, "Sorry. Inflation.
Sorry, $2. And you said, what? Well, I'm at the Dollar Tree. I thought everything's $1. And then she points to the sign. It says, nope, now it's $2.
And then she sighs deeply and says, oh, get out.
I demand $15 an hour. I demand...
I need more money and wear a mask. Wow. Wow. That's all I hear nowadays is wow. Every time I'm just walking down the street, it's wow. Inflation, wow.
I have chronic bronchitis, which came about the past couple months. Just been coughing a lot, and people are giving me the side eye. I said, I went to a couple concerts. I went to the beach. I've been all over the place. People giving me a lot of looks, and I'm like, What do you want me to do?
You can't do anything about chronic bronchitis. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
A mask makes it worse.
And I'm coughing on myself. It's like a feedback loop of I'm just going to keep giving myself more cough.
It makes the bronchitis stronger.
Yeah, if you ever put two cell phones together
Yeah.
and they call each other, it's that sort of thing. So I refuse to wear a mask. I don't know why people are wearing masks still. Everybody's always worried about something or other. Give me $15 an hour. I can't serve you a sandwich unless you wear the mask. It's you know what it is? It's sick.
And this inflation is just going to make it even worse. But here's the thing that I like about inflation is that it makes things more expensive. And let's just say I've got a taste for the finer things in life. I'm a man of taste, and when things cost a little more, well, let's just say I'm willing to pay it.
And you can. People talk about the cost of a loaf of bread in the 1800s, the cost of milk, and how that's changed. There's nothing like a $10 glass of milk.
There's nothing.
You go to a restaurant, and they say, "What do you want, sir?" And you say, 2%. Like you're ordering wine.
Cream. Yeah, I go into a nice steakhouse and say, "Give me your finest cream." And they say, "Excuse me, sir. You want a coffee?" No. Just the cream.
Just the cream.
1 cream, extra bread.
Do you want me to heat it up? You mean like latte or something?
No. Put it in a dish. Put it in a dish for me. And bring the bread. Keep bringing that bread out. Well, the bread is complimentary, sir. Not going to want that. I'm going to want the $10 bread.
Bring the man out with the cart of milk and let me choose. Just ask for the milk cart. And there's this garçon that carts out 14 or 15 different types of milk in little dishes. And you can smell them and decide what you want. Yeah. And that's the restaurant I go to.
That's the best restaurant. It's called Milk and Bread. It's all you need. It's all you need to survive. That's how they lived in the 1800s, like you said. Until inflation got him.
Oh, yeah, and that's how Wild Bill Hickok died. He was a rough and tough cowboy, and
he starved to death.
He starved to death, that's right. He was playing poker, and then he realized he hadn't had milk and bread.
And he's like, well, I'm pretty hungry. I haven't eaten in a few days. I'll buy a little bit of milk and bread down the street. Didn't realize since the last time he'd bought milk and bread, inflation. And he's like, can I buy some? Sorry, buddy, inflation. Just, is this, you can't afford this. He's like, oh no, and then died.
And then bang, the chair hit the floor.
He died doing what he loved, starving to death.
So anyway, that's the story of Wild Bill. But I do want to talk more about inflation, and I aside from inflation blowing up, the housing market is blowing up.
Exploding.
Oh.
These houses are selling and buying and exploding. Some of them are just exploding because they're getting a little too, antsy about moving into the house. They're the family is like, I can't wait to get in. Let's just put as much fuel in the house as possible. I can't wait to heat it up. And well, that's a mistake. Yeah, it blows up when you put it.
That's
in too
a huge problem now. And a huge problem now also is that people are wanting to buy houses right now. So what I've been doing, what Bridge has been doing, we've been buying houses at way higher prices than what they're actually worth, so that we could rent them out and turn on the gas.
I love doing that. So you buy a house in a neighborhood, and you rent it out to a family because they're not going to be able to afford the house. They're like, let's be honest here. And so it's like, we'll rent it out to you. And in the middle of summer, I turn on that heat. Get them excited. They're like, can you turn down the heat?
This is Florida.
It's already a little hot. It's Florida. I don't think we need a heater, honestly.
When you rent a house out, you can do whatever you want with it, regardless if somebody is renting it out. It's yours. It's their privilege to live there.
They are privileged guests in your home. And they will respect the rules of your house. Much like if you have a teenager in the house, a teenage kid, they got to follow certain rules. Much like when you rent a house out to people, they gotta follow your rules. There's curfews, there's heat.
I think that's a great analogy. I think tenants have such a huge advantage against us right now, and it's just a shame. Please turn down the heat. It's too hot. It's like, buddy, welcome to 2021. The whole world's heating up. Get used to it. You know what I mean?
Get used to it. Get used to my rules. Because this is my house, and you will follow my rules. Like, I mean, I'll pay some visits on them, make sure they're abiding by the rules. The other day, I come in, they're watching this reality show called Fuckboy Island. And I said, not in my house. You're not going to be watching this. And she was like, ugh.
I'm 36. I could watch whatever I want. And you say, no, not in my house. Not as long as you're renting from me, you're not.
I've got rules. And this is trash. This is filth. And you won't be watching it.
Oh, yeah. I owned an apartment building, and one of the tenants was, playing Led Zeppelin, the Devil's music.
Yeah.
I got some complaints, from the neighbor, and I went in. I yelled at the neighbor because nobody likes a tattletale. And then I came into, the house that was playing Led Zeppelin, and I switched it off, and I said, no more music for a week.
Yeah, I've had the same circumstance. They were drinking a bunch of Starbucks in my place, and I said, well, I used to enjoy Starbucks until they decided to declare war on Christmas with their propaganda.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like it when people try and stop Christmas, much like the Starbucks Corporation did. And I knocked their Starbucks cups onto the ground and said, not in my house.
That's a big problem with you, yeah, Bridge.
Yeah.
Just talking about blowing things up, things that have been really blowing up right now in the zeitgeist. People most recently have been talking about the climate, which may or may not be blowing up. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, climate. I mean, it's hot right now.
Yeah.
It's on the tip of everybody's tongue. People just can't stop talking about this climate stuff. It's it's trending. It's blowing up.
The climate should have its own reality show.
That would do gangbusters because people won't shut up about this climate stuff.
Call it Here Comes the Heat, and you have a lot of scantily clad coeds hanging out on a beach just talking about climate change.
Now that I would watch.
That's sexy.
Like you said, women on a beach, scantily clad, saying, it's getting hot, and I'm worried. Uh-oh, the water's rising.
Live reaction of hot co-eds worrying about their future.
Facing climate change head on.
And doing challenges. Monkey bars,
try to run away from this forest fire, escape the city that a hurricane is about to hit, and that.
Eating bugs or eating whatever things they find, old critters that they're able to.
Evading water stuff,
I mean, I like the bugs thing, just having these hot co-eds eating bugs, just looking under logs, trying to find bugs, critters, beetles and whatnot. Yeah. I like that. But Bridge, I love that idea.
Yeah, but we could also have it, keep tying it back to the climate stuff. Like, they discuss oh no, the United States has decided to drop out of the Paris Accord. Like, oh God, no.
Yeah, right.
Have them watch that. That would be part of the show too. Yeah.
Have them wear bird beaks so that they're all pretending to be birds, trying to find critters under a branch. Fighting each other over it, but not really paying attention to each other, just really focusing on the bugs.
You're
like an inchworm or something. You could watch these hot young co-eds, just out of college or just juniors, seniors in college, just really trying to figure it out. They haven't picked their major yet, but boy, do they want to eat bugs.
Yeah. I don't know about this bug. You seem really into the bug idea. I don't know what that has to do with climate change.
I'm just riffing, about with the climate change and everything. I mean, even hunky guys, a couple guys lifting weights and putting their hands in the dirt and seeing what comes up, slurp up some worms and have at it. I'd watch it, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
You like hot. Yeah.
Anyway. Climate change is really, it's blowing up in a big way. A couple reports came out, and I was online, and people were just saying, oh no, where? I mean,
I don't have a future.
Everything is just.
Everything's wah.
Everything is wah these days.
Look, the Earth's going to be here whether you like it or not. It's going to be here whether it's cold and whether it's hot.
If there was global cooling going on, I'd support it.
Like a new ice age.
I love ice. I'm an ice man.
But that's why they don't call it global warming anymore, I don't believe. They call it climate change. So you don't know if it might change for the better.
It could change towards cool.
Or like a nice breeze. We don't know. Nobody knows.
Global breezing.
A nice cool breeze where it's 65 degrees or something. Maybe when it gets a little bit cooler at night, it goes down to 60. That might be where climate change goes. Nobody knows. Nobody's done the research.
Nobody's done any of the research yet.
Like, imagine the planet just feeling like San Diego.
Global breeze. That I could get into. Like, just the whole world just kind of has a nice little... Oh, just a breeze coming off the water. That feeling, it's such a. It brings me back to my youth.
Oh yeah, well you spent a lot of your time on the South Pacific. Your father moved around a lot in the South Pacific, looking for a new mom.
Yeah, it brings me back to those South Pacific days. A nice, cool breeze.
Well, he spent a lot of time away from you. I know, in the Orient. I know that was, he'd just kind of leave you on one of the islands and say...
Enjoy the breeze, is what he said.
6-year-old Bridge Stewart, enjoy the breeze, and he gives you like a...
Gave me the middle finger and took off in his helicopter. Enjoy the breeze, you filthy animal, he said to his son as he abandoned him.
Lights up a cigar, puts on his cool sunglasses.
He's a pretty cool guy.
Yeah, hot helicopter pilot lady. Probably ate bugs. I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know about the bugs thing.
Maybe not.
I don't remember them eating a lot of bugs.
Anyway, climate change, if it doesn't turn into what I expect it would, which is a nice cool breeze... it might just go hog wild.
That's the worst kind of wild.
Hog wild.
And hog wild. I mean, you've owned some hogs, and they go wild.
I've got thousands of hogs in central Nebraska, and I just let them loose.
You let them go wild.
I don't like to restrict them.
Yeah.
Land is land, I say. The neighbors start arguing with me. I say, land is land. Let the hogs do what they do. And they do.
Hog wild is different
than
a lot of other. I mean, like there's, horse wild, cow wild. Hog wild's a different level. People are going hog wild about this, is what we're trying to say. Is what we're looping back around to, is that this climate change thing, people are really going hog wild on the social media about it. Like we said, they're, oh no. That's what it sounds like.
I don't have a future. What do we do?
I don't have a future. That's what it's... Yeah, they're going hog wild. They sound like a bunch of wild pigs.
Whiny pigs.
That's where we're going.
That's the generation.
In America.
That's the next gen. Gen Z, Gen Y, whatever.
Yeah, Gen X, wild pig. That's the next generation.
Generation wild pig.
Yeah. Blubbering pig is what the next generation's name will be. It's like the greatest generation gave out to the baby boomers, to the millennials, to the blubbering pigs.
And it's also like, if you're so upset about where the planet may or may not be going, then why don't you do something about it?
Yeah, that's the problem.
Nobody takes the responsibility.
It's not the responsibility of these companies to do anything about this. They're just a company. That's not a real person. That's not even a real thing. I mean, honestly, it's like just imaginary when you think about it. What's really important is the consumer. The consumer has to take
responsibility for what they've done.
For what they've done, the sins that they've committed against this planet.
We've been saying for years, you got to recycle. And if everybody just recycled,
this would be done in a month.
This would be fixed in a month. And maybe if people stopped eating so much, what do they eat? Cereal?
Yeah, they eat cereal.
They stopped watching so many YouTube videos.
Start recycling.
Then we wouldn't have such a global catastrophe on our hands.
Yeah, this is a complete disaster. If the blubbering pig generation doesn't get their act together, this world's doomed. I mean, I'll be out by the time it's real bad. I mean,
is that right?
I'm leaving at 60. No, we talked about this before.
Right. You're heading up.
Put a shotgun in my mouth and call it a day. Put the shotgun barrel
in your mouth.
In my mouth. Pull the trigger.
I mean, that's on your will, right?
Yeah.
You like to hire and fire lawyers on the daily, but every time you get a new lawyer, that's the first thing you say. Hey, when I turn 60, put a shotgun in my mouth
and pull the trigger. Yeah, that's my catchphrase. That some people are like, it ain't raining, it's pouring. Wham bam, straight to the moon. Mine is put a shotgun in my mouth and pull the trigger.
That's right. But I also know that, Bridge, you've been working on your space program as well, and you're planning on to the moon.
Yeah.
Do you plan on shooting off to the moon and then shooting yourself in the face in space?
Well, there's been some delays with the old space program that I'm trying to put together. Yeah. I guess, you get what you pay for. I'm spending $75,000 on a space program.
Oh, it's increased. Your budget's increased, huh?
I had to pump it up a little bit, throw an extra $25,000 into that bad boy, and still not enough. Still not enough to get things into space. So.
Well, that's the problem with scientists. I mean, I consider myself a scientist, but there are a lot of fake scientists out there, and it's just...
they're frauds.
I mean, a lot of scientists, they don't know what they're doing, and they're like, we need more money, we need more budget. But I guess the people that you've been hiring for your space program, they might be, who knows what they're doing with the cash.
Yeah, they seem pretty tired. I've been working them around the clock.
Yeah.
And... honestly, I don't think a lot of them are that experienced. I mean, half of them didn't finish high school. And you got to cut corners when you're spending $50,000. But, I mean, I was pretty much bringing in anybody who showed up in a lab coat. Just saying, all right, have at it. Here's a bunch of, jet fuel and explosives. Figure it out. And that was, talk about blowing up. That happened a lot with some of those people.
I mean, your head engineer is just a guy who worked at the fireworks shop.
Yeah. His assistant just got out for tax evasion. He just sort of got out and was like, I need to do anything. It's really hard for me to get a job right now. What you got? Will it pay? Rocket science? Sure. Whatever.
I mean, tax evasion is hard, so I would imagine rocket science is just one step above that.
Apparently it is.
Oh.
Apparently it is.
Okay.
Apparently it's a lot harder, because that guy, he's not doing too well. He's lost a hand.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I mean, going back to this, I'm might be a few years out from launching my ship into space. But the space race has begun amongst the billionaire class. It's kicking up in full force. It's blowing up, if you will.
I love it. I mean, we had the space race in the 60s and 70s and, at the end of the Cold War. But now we've got a more interesting space race. It's no longer between nations. It's between men, titans of industry. It's much more interesting. I mean, at this point, NASA... what are they doing? They're twiddling their thumbs.
I mean, talk about blubbering pigs.
Tell me about it.
You might as well rename NASA to, Crying Hog. What do they do? What are we paying? We're paying them out of our taxes.
I guess at this point, I'd like to see some forward momentum with NASA. I mean, you're going to spend your whole time looking at stars. Yeah, we get it. There's a lot of them. Okay,
there's a lot.
And I could go into NASA and say, hey, there's a lot of stars, and what else?
What else you got for me? What have you done for me lately, NASA? And you're looking at the stars? Oh, that's something a child would do. That's what I did as a kid. I'd look at stars and be like, "Oh, look at the stars." I mean, that is baby thoughts. That is literal baby thoughts that
it's like talking about dinosaurs
or like sharks or something. It's like, I mean, am I going to pay taxes to somebody to research sharks? Please.
It's a juvenile industry, and I think all that we should be doing is trying to get some billboards out on space so we can advertise. I mean, that's like the ultimate goal, at least the next 10 years. I'd love to see advertisements. Monetize the sky. I mean, forget the stars. Let's get some ads up there. Let's get a Business Money Hacks on the the night sky.
I'd like a big ad for Burger King. Just on the sky, just the old king looking down on his kingdom.
Like one ad for Burger King, and then obviously McDonald's would have to do something that have a bigger ad, the big M.
Or just like Disney. Just have a bunch of Disney ads in the sky. You go camping, and up in the sky is just an ad for Frozen 2. Now that's really embracing nature. That's really embracing the stars.
I mean, they own Star Wars. Why not, combine it? You look up in the sky. tie it in. Say like The Mandalorian season 4 will be starting June 1st. I'd love to see that when I'm camping.
Who wants a little bit more of Baby Yoda? Well, you know what? You'll get more Baby Yoda every single night when you look up into the sky.
And all in English too. Just have it all. Make sure it's just in English.
English is the universal language. It's the only one that makes sense.
We could buy ads ourselves, personal ads, just like me, buying, and it just says "Speak English." Let's learn English.
Baby Yoda walking across the skies of Brazil, looking down and saying, "Speak English."
That's the dream. That's what people want to see. Or just get ready for Cars 3. And then maybe we could even, we have the visual of the advertisements in the sky with the satellites, but we could also do some sort of loud, booming sound that would kind of reverberate across the planet.
Yeah,
maybe that's the next step.
Yeah, people in Rwanda looking up at the night sky and seeing a gigantic boom and the gecko staring down at them, screaming, "Buy insurance." That's what NASA really should be concentrating on.
And if they don't, then, free market, let NASA die. Let it blow up in the stars.
Let them die.
I say
Make
NASA.
them
I say
die.
to NASA. I'm sorry?
I'm just throwing things out there.
Because you had said let them die. Yeah. Let the NASA, the entity, die if it's a free market. But
let them die.
I guess
make them die. Get somebody in there who's going to make it happen is what I say. Get somebody with a plan and a resolve to make sure that this happens is what I say.
Get somebody
somebody with the will and with a plan.
How do you mean?
I'm just throwing
general.
I'm just throwing things out there. Free market. I am just saying things. That's all I'm saying.
Bridges, dog whistles.
I'm just saying things. That's all I'm doing.
Yeah.
There's free market. You're allowed to say whatever you want.
NASA's taken all the money, and they have the largest budget. They take the most after welfare and healthcare. NASA's third up in the ring of like the budget.
It goes.
I think
welfare. Welfare number one.
Yeah. Healthcare.
Healthcare.
Maybe public radio or something.
Public radio. Woke studies, I think, is number 3 or 4.
Sure. For the U.S. budget, yeah.
Yeah. And then it's NASA. And somebody
needs to...
Could. They could take care of it. It wouldn't be hard.
Okay, Bridge. Well, on that note, I feel like a lot of episodes end on that note, and I'm not really sure how to react to it, so I think we should just end the episode.
Yeah, I think it's a great way to end these episodes, just throwing out ideas and seeing what sticks.
Well, I want to thank our audience for listening. We really do appreciate our listeners, and tell your friends about Business Money Hacks, because I've looked at the numbers, and I've sort of, I guess, had it with you people, would be the word.
Yeah, somebody's... you guys gotta amp these numbers up, because I'm becoming more and more furious by the day. And if these numbers don't go up, who knows what'll happen.
Thank you so much.